All right, what is that? What is a strategy? In the business context, what is a strategy? Well, because, you know, like sometimes I ask people this and I get answers like, oh, my strategy is to develop a new social media channel to promote the products and services of my company. No, that is a tactic. Or I have people that say my strategy is to hire an expert from Singapore, and I want that person to come to Australia to give us some conferences about what they do there. That is a tactic. So from a storytelling perspective that is supported by data, when we think about the strategy, we need to think about two variables, all right? And one of the variables is market, and the other variable is product. All right. So if we want to get our people motivated, the board motivated with our stories, so they keep engaging our department, so they keep releasing the funds that we need for research, so they keep giving us the team members that we want in order to be competitive, then we need to talk in the terms, in the language. Yeah. And what is the language of the board? Market and product. And if it's not that, if they are not talking in the language of market and product, it's because they don't want you to design or to help them to design a strategy. And what they want you to help them with is with innovation. So is innovation or strategy? Is one or the other? Let's start with the strategy first. Guys, if for any reason you have a question, please let me know, but I will continue until you stop me. So we have two variables there to analyze what is the right strategy for a company. One is the market and the other one is the product. And in these two variables, we have two elements that make those variables unique and different. And the elements are new and old. Old, current, new, the future, what is coming, something that doesn't exist yet. So we can have new markets, or we can have old markets. We can have old products, or we can have new products. That is it. Look how simple it is. This is the language of the board. So when you go and present the data through stories, you need to get them to decide out of that data, what is the best thing for our company? A new market? You know, like for example, if you are in Singapore, a new market could be New Zealand. Or if you are in Ecuador, a new market could be Central America. Or if you are in the States, a new market could be Italy. So that is one probability. Or the other one would be, no. What they want us to bring them through stories and data is enough information so they can say, they can define, they can decide, no, the market that we have today is the right one. We shouldn't move. We should stay here. We shouldn't open a new branch over there, right? Now, the other variable, product, same dynamic. You need to get them to decide if the product, if the glasses that you have, the frames that you have today, the old ones, is what we need to keep being competitive, or what you need is them, not you, but them, the board, to tell you, hey, no, you need to develop some smart frames, something that can adapt to how people is wearing, you know, what is the kind of color that they're using today and what is the shape. Of course, I read a little bit about the work that you're doing, Celine. But I found that very interesting. See
that.
Because I reckon that is a fantastic project, to be honest. You know, it got me like, oh, wow, this is cool. So Celine is working on projects that are related to developing frames that are smart, that can adapt to people preferences. And I was like, wow, this is new. First time I heard about that. Yeah? So I like it. All right. So the board will tell you, no. What we want is a new frame that we can commercialize, that we can use as you know, a reference for us to be the pioneers in that particular industry. Right. So listen up. If the board, as a result of your story, selects new market and new product, both of them are new, that strategy is called diversification. So diversification is you as a board, you as the CEO, you decide, you make the decision of going to new markets in 2022 with a new product offering in 2022. All right, that is the value of what we're doing. Now, I just want you guys to remember, the good storyteller doesn't give the advice. You don't give people, you don't go and say to the board, hey, look, because everything that we have done with my team, because of the analysis that we have done, I think that you guys should open a new market and develop a new products. And the strategy is called diversification. You don't do that. That is not our role. You know that, because we're smart, we know that, but what we want them for the entire thing to work is the board to look like the smart people. You want them to say, oh, okay, this means that we should go to a new market and we should develop a new product. And you will be like, all right, if that's what you think, yeah, let's try it. You made it. That is the story component of data. It's not about you giving them the advice, because that's what I used to do when I was working as a consultant. I was there with my titles and my things and my universities and my experiences and my languages and shit like that. And I was telling people, you know, I'm here and I'm going to tell you what is that you need to do. Happens to be that sometimes it works. But now, if I go with the same rhetoric, I'll be kicked off. It's not going to work. It's not going to resonate with this new audience. Because this new audience is different, you know, is real, smart, human-centered people. You know, if we are talking about storytelling, we need to talk about humanism and anthropology, because this is highly connected. All right, and these clever, smart, humanist inclined people, they don't want you to be a dictator, going there to tell them what to do regardless of your credentials. No, you want them, they want you to facilitate how they can get conclusions, right? So if the product is new and the market is new, you have this strategy which is called diversification. What is the problem with it? Extremely risky and very, 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 very expensive. Very, very expensive to run. So just keep that in mind. If you have a new market, an old product, so you decide to get the board to decide, no, look, what we want to do is to go to New Zealand, but our milk is not going to change. Our cheese is going to be the same cheese, but we're just going to go to New Zealand. All right, that strategy is called market development. What about the risk? The risk is medium, and the return on investment is medium too. Whereas the risk in diversification is extremely high, but the return on investment is really, really high too. This is what companies like Apple do or Samsung. They go to new markets with new products all the time. All right. Now, if what the board wants to hear, what the board wants to decide is, no, we are not going to go to a new market. We stay here in Australia, but we develop a new product. So that is old market, new product. The name of that strategy is product development. What about the risk? Medium risk, because developing a new product is risky. What about if the market doesn't accept it? What about if it's not the right time for the market to consume this product? Because that is what happens a lot of times with innovators. You know, you have great ideas and your product is phenomenal. It's just not the right timing for it. So it's a little bit risky. What about the return on investment? Medium as well. So what is the last strategy that we have? Old market, old product. So you don't change. Because when you keep saying to your company, hey, look, what we gotta do is to stay in this market because this is a good one. It's not saturated yet. There is a lot of space to grow in this market. And the products, they are just fine. You know, they are selling well. The products are just selling well. People is talking about them. People is sharing them in social. People is consuming them. People is sharing them. People is abusing them. So it's all good. That strategy is called market penetration. Market penetration. Market penetration means that you don't want to move out of that center market. You don't want to develop new products, but you want to have more market share. You want to beat your competitors. Usually this is done through pricing and margins. All right, but it's a very, very, very complicated strategy because it's very, very difficult to explain people in the board why we don't want to change. It's very, very difficult. So even though it's the strategy, the less risky strategy because you are not developing something new, in reality is the most dangerous one. Because your competitors from all over the world, they are trying to kill you and taking out of the market. So be careful if you decide to do this market penetration strategy. Right. So I hope you have understood this. When we want to talk to the board, which is our audience, we need to tell them through stories how they can get to a decision in terms of developing a new market or not, developing a new product or not. If they tell you at the end of that participation, oh, we just want to go to New Zealand and develop a new product, then you will tell them, all right, awesome. You have chosen a diversification strategy or so on. All right. So any questions about this particular approach to discuss this with the board before I move to the other one? Is it clear? Is this adding is this adding value? Understanding the stories from these two variables, market and product. Yes. Let me know, because it works really well for me.
Sorry, so can I, Santi, just reiterate? So diversification, new market, new product, market development, new market, old product, product development, old market, new product, and the last one is old, yeah?
And what is the name of the last one?
Market penetration, sorry.
Market penetration, which is everything is old, is the one that you say we are not changing.
That's right.
Yeah,
cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Great.
That is how the board thinks. Yeah, that is how the board thinks. We need to think like them in order to tell our stories, so they make this decision themselves. The big mistake of the business analyst, or the big mistake of the research and development director, is to go to the board and tell them our strategy for 2022 should be diversification, or should be. That is the big mistake. That's what I don't want you guys to do. What I want you guys to do is, all right, you go to the board, you present your analysis for the next period, and you give them your stories using these two variables, market and product, for them to decide, Obviously, your data is bringing the conclusion of our best move is to go to a new market with a new product. But they will be the ones verbalizing that. And that is the key of this first module. You know, that is what I want you guys, that is the takeaway of this first module. It's understanding that is the storytelling today is very different to the dashboard perspective of 5 years ago, because the dashboard, they were static, and you were giving from the very beginning an explanation of how you got to that conclusion, how you got to, are you getting this? How you got to that conclusion through data. That is the wrong approach nowadays. It may work for some companies. I don't want to be this absolute. It may work for some industries, for some companies, probably some very conservative ones. It may work. Government may work, because you have bureaucracies, you have hierarchies, and it's difficult to move in those layers. But if you are in an agile company, in a flat organization kind of company, you need the directors and the board to make the decision, not you, as a result of the data through stories that you provide.